Apple is about to raise the price of the iPhone 18 Pro Max by $400. Not speculation, not a guess. A leak backed by chip manufacturing costs, memory price spikes, and a supply chain that doesn't care about your upgrade budget. And there's one feature on this phone that I think the entire review community is going to misread when September arrives. We'll get there. We are 2 months out from the iPhone 18 Pro. 2 months from the keynote, the pre-orders, the review embargoes, the lines outside Apple stores at 7 a.m. I've gone through every major rumor, leak, and supply chain report worth reading, 12 confirmed features, a release date I'm calling with real confidence, and a price prediction that should make you think twice before clicking pre-order without watching this first. This is the full picture right now in July. Let's start with designs, because this is where expectations need adjusting. The iPhone 18 Pro is not a redesign. Same 6.3-inch display, same plateau camera housing on the back, same general silhouette as the 17 Pro, but there are three specific changes that matter in real-world use. First, the dynamic island is getting smaller. Apple is reportedly moving Face ID's flood illuminator under the display, which means less cutout at the top of the screen and a cleaner, less interrupted front panel. Revolutionary? No. Something you'll notice every single time you unlock this phone. Yes. Second, the rear ceramic shield around the MagSafe area is getting redesigned. More frosted, more seamless. The current two-tone look, where the MagSafe circle sits slightly differently from the rest of the back, is reportedly going away. That change is long overdue. Third, color. The special finish for the iPhone 18 Pro models is called Dark Cherry, alongside light blue, dark gray, and silver. Cosmic orange and deep blue are being discontinued. Dark Cherry, that's either going to be the best looking iPhone Apple has made in years, or the thing people complain about for 12 months straight. No middle ground. Here's something that isn't getting nearly enough attention, and I think it should. The iPhone 18 Pro is switching to LTPO Plus display technology. That's an upgrade from the current LTPO panel, and the primary benefit is efficiency. More efficient display means the battery works less hard doing the same job, which means longer real-world battery life, not from a bigger battery, just from a smarter one. Speaking of bigger batteries, though, if you're considering the Pro Max specifically, here's a number that matters. The iPhone 18 Pro Max is reportedly getting a nearly 10% larger battery than the 17 Pro Max. 10% on a phone that already had strong endurance, so that's not a spec sheet win. That's a full extra hour, maybe two, of actual daily use. Now, there's a trade-off. The Pro Max is reportedly going to be thicker than both the iPhone 17 Pro Max and the iPhone 18 Pro. Thicker chassis, bigger battery, more weight. If portability is your priority, that matters. If you've ever ended a day at 8% battery, desperately hunting for a charger, it probably doesn't. The variable aperture camera. This is the feature getting the most headlines, and I want to be careful about how I frame it. Both iPhone 18 Pro models are rumored to have a variable aperture on the main 48 megapixel Fusion camera. Variable aperture means you control how much light enters the lens, which directly affects depth of field and low light performance. On a dedicated mirrorless camera with a large sensor, this is genuinely powerful. On a smartphone, the honest answer is it's more nuanced than the headlines suggest. Smartphones have smaller image sensors than dedicated cameras. That's physics, not a criticism. And the benefits of variable aperture scale with sensor size. So, will this change your photos in a visible, meaningful way? I don't know yet. And anybody confidently calling this a game changer right now hasn't shot on a variable aperture phone in a real world environment. What I can say is that more control is always better than less. The question is how Apple tunes it in software, because Apple's computational photography layer is where the real magic happens, not in the glass. That's the first thing I'm testing the day this hits. The A20 Pro chip, TSMC's 2 nanometer process, down from the current 3 nanometer on the A19 Pro. 2 nanometer architecture means more transistors packed into the same space. More transistors means more processing power and better energy efficiency without a larger footprint. And in practical terms, expect meaningful year-over-year gains in raw performance and battery endurance from the chip alone. Not a revolution, a real step forward. Now, here's where things get genuinely interesting. The iPhone 18 Pro is expected to ship with Apple's C2 modem, their third generation custom cellular chip. Apple's C1XX in the current iPhone Air is already reportedly twice as fast as the original C1 and described as the most power-efficient modem ever in an iPhone. The C2 should push that further. But the headline capability unlocked by the C2 modem is 5G via satellite, not emergency SOS texts, not weather check-ins, actual web browsing via satellite, no Wi-Fi, no cell towers. Think about what that actually means in practice. On a plane in a remote area at sea, your iPhone 18 Pro is just connected. If this works the way the leaks suggest, this is not a gimmick feature that lives in the settings app and gets used twice. It's infrastructure. It changes what it means to be offline. Let's talk timing, because Apple is more predictable here than most people realize. Every single iPhone keynote since 2012 has fallen in the first half of September. One exception, 2020. COVID pushed it one day outside that window. Apple has never held a keynote before Labor Day. Apple has never held a keynote on September 11th. This year, Labor Day is September 1st. Based on Apple's consistent pattern, the keynote is September 9th, Tuesday, 8 days after Labor Day, exactly where Apple has landed the majority of years when Labor Day falls this early. After that, the schedule follows like clockwork. Pre-orders open Friday, September 12th. iOS 27 goes live for everyone, Monday, September 15th. First reviews go public Wednesday, September 17th. iPhone 18 Pro is in your hands, Friday, September 19th. Market. And now, the price. Tim Cook has already confirmed that iPhone prices are going up. He didn't say by how much. A leaker on Weibo with a credible track record says the iPhone 18 Pro Max could open at 11,000 yuan in China, which converts to roughly $1,625 in the US. The iPhone 17 Pro Max launched at $1,199. That's a potential $400 increase. Let me explain exactly why, because this isn't Apple being greedy, it's Apple passing costs forward, and the costs are real. Reason 1, the A20 Pro chip, TSMC's 2 nanometer wafers, reportedly cost around $30,000 each, somewhere between 50 and 66% more expensive than current 3 nanometer wafers. The chip alone is expected to cost more than 20% more to produce than its predecessor. Reason 2, memory prices. DRAM contract prices reportedly climbed 90 to 95% in the first quarter of this year, then another 58 to 63% in the second quarter. DRAM and NAND spot prices are up over 300% overall. Memory now accounts for more than 20% of what it costs to build a smartphone. A year ago, that number was 10 to 15%. These aren't invented numbers. They are supply chain realities. And Apple isn't the only manufacturer dealing with them. Does that make a $400 increase feel good? No, but it does make it make sense. Here's where I land. If you're on an iPhone 17 Pro, this probably isn't your upgrade cycle. The design is familiar. The chip is better, but not transformational. The camera improvements are real, but still unproven in practice. If you're on a 15 Pro or older, this is a meaningful jump. Variable aperture camera, a 20 Pro chip, 5G via satellite, smaller dynamic island, a legitimately larger battery on the Pro Max. The case for upgrading is real. If you're on anything older than that, the 18 Pro isn't a question, it's just the answer. The price is the price. Apple knows the components are more expensive. Apple knows the technology is better. and Apple knows that the people in the market for a Pro Max are not primarily shopping on price. What I want to find out in September, and I mean this, is whether the variable aperture camera delivers what it promises or becomes the most overhyped addition since portrait mode launched and everyone lost their mind for the 3 months. I'll give you the honest answer the day I get it. One question I want to leave you with, because I'm genuinely curious, what's the number that makes you walk away? At what price does the iPhone 18 Pro become a phone you skip? Because I think that threshold is going to be different this cycle than it's ever been. Drop it in the comments. Let's find out where people actually stand.